Hey folks, this is ioEther and we're back with some more world tanks. So as you can see, this Ashen trigger, excuse me, and it is Jagdpz 4, aka the flat Panzer, because it is, well, it is flat. It really is. It's also considered one of the weakest Jagdpzs in the whole series, and it's generally bad. So we're going to see what Ash can actually do with it. This is a tier 6 games on mines. And so what was our win chance? Actually fairly decent. So as long as Ash is participating in this game, we have this game down. Okay, good to know. Now mostly you can see that the other team is not great in their tanks. So that's probably the reason that our win rate is so high. Nice shot into the Cromwell, dishing out some decent damage, and the Cromwell is by far one of their best players. So if we can knock him out of the game early, we stand a much better chance of winning this game. However, he has attained the hill, and no one else is going to be able to get up there because of the fact that they've shut the door. So that's going to be a little bit of a problem. Now there is some artillery in this game, as you can hear, and the shells are landing fierce, really? The shells are landing fast and furiously, and for some reason our Cromwell, our scout tank, is sitting at the back sniping. That's not a great place for him. And our artillery is kind of out in the open behind a bush. I guess he doesn't realize as soon as he fires, that bush goes away, for all intents and purposes. So the Cromwell has a paint job on him, so that generally indicates someone who's some measure of skill. So he either believes that this game is lost and he's not gonna die easily, or he put a paint job on it for no reason and just because, you know, he thinks it looks cool. It's gonna be a little bit more difficult. Ash is trying to get a shot on this VK, misses, or hit the VKM, doesn't really matter. Either way, he didn't penetrate, and booyah! Artillery takes out that guy. Good. And nice shot into the side of the M6, exposed side of the M6. Might as well take the shot. Good damage to the KV-1S. This gun doesn't have an epic amount of damage, but Ash is making use of it. Now the Cromwell has just rammed us, because he obviously doesn't know where his wheels are, doesn't really care who's behind him. We have a KV-1S up on the hill, never mind, who I was about to say was about to go down, and then he did. So this game that we could win is fastly turning into a game we're definitely going to lose. Shooting the Matilda is a good idea. Matilda is a tier 4 tank, so it is kind of like picking on something smaller than you, but it also has the rate of fire and armor that it would make some of our other tanks harder for some of our other tanks to penetrate. And why the Jackson is jumping off, I don't know, but he has apparently decided he does not want to live any longer, and he is through with this world. However, the KV-2 and Ash take out the VK-3001D and proceed to look at something else. The Chinu is fighting with our KV-2 over there. Unfortunately, the Chinu takes out our KV-2, and Ash is going to try and get a sneaky shot into the Chinu, and he does. As long as he can see a part of the Chinu, he can actually do real damage to it, because of course it has no armor. But behind the wreck of a KV-2, that's a little bit difficult to do. Our Jackson is still advancing forward, though for unknown reasons. He's just going to get himself killed out there, and he can't see anything more than we can see on this hill. There he goes. Now he's dead. Great. That's a problem. Okay, so now we just have 2 artillery left. A Cromwell, who's halfway across the map trying to assassinate their artillery, and Ash. Okay, well, I guess that's okay. Cromwell is making his way into our base. He's actually probably lit our M41 already. So the M41 is probably going to get counter-artilleried. Cromwell takes out the AMX-13 F3, but gets taken out in return, and a Hellcat takes out our Hummel. Now the M41 still thinks he's in cover, unfortunately, because he's not, and boom, Ash takes a great shot to the tracks, freezing in place, making him have to spend their repair kit and back off. Now, unfortunately, this means that we lose the M41. Okay. Pausing this right here. Now, this is the player that has said that we need to take it right away. He's in that Cromwell over there, and he has turned the game against us. He single-handedly spotted a whole bunch of tanks, did a whole bunch of damage, and has turned the game into his favor. His team is going to win, except we have Ash. This is our only asset and our only solution to this current problem. Now, the big problem is Ash is surrounded. There's, of course, the Cromwell over here, who's maneuverable enough to get around the back of these rocks and get out if he needs to. There's the Hellcat right here, who's maneuverable enough to come around these rocks and flank us. So it's not like we can just jump off these rocks, run over there, and shoot back. We're not going to have that option. Also, we know there's a the Jagdpz, another flat panzer that's probably either coming down this way, or more likely he's going to come over this 5 line, and he's going to be in our we're going to call that our 10 o'clock. Over here on our, that's more of our 11 o'clock. Over here on our 8-9 o'clock, there is a VK, so we know he's coming from this direction. And we know that Matilda is actually still up here. He's probably making his way up onto this hill. So he is going to, in fact, be over here. So we're actually got a tank here, a tank here, a tank here, and these two. Ash is surrounded for all intents and purposes. And him finding his way out of this is going to take a lot of skill and cunning and a lot of luck. Good luck, Ash. Now he's moving forward and backwards. He wants to engage the guys on the cap first because he needs them not to cap in order for him to win. Hellcat bounces off him, and now he's taking on both the Hellcat and the Cromwell. Now notice he's focusing fire on the Cromwell. He needs to take out the most dangerous opponent first. He bounces a shot from the Hellcat and is taking fire from the Matilda in his back. The Matilda is not really dangerous fire, but is consistent. He's continuing to bounce shots from the Hellcat and takes out the Hellcat as it tries to run away. That was a bad move from the Hellcat. The Hellcat should have fought and continued to try and pull Ash away from cover, where it could get shot in the back by the Matilda and the flat panzer. Now the VK is most likely moving up. No, it's the Matilda who's moving up for next, and he's going to get taken out in a single shot. Unfortunately, that shot has revealed Ash because he did not pull back far enough from the bushes before he took it. So now Ash is in trouble, though apparently neither of the enemies are in position to shoot at him. So that tells Ash a few things. First off, well, there's the VK. And second off, he knows that from not being shot at by the flat panzer, the flat panzer is doing something surprising. I'm going to pause right here. Now, the flat panzer should have been up here, and when the Matilda died, should have had a clear line of shot or line of fire on Ash. But because he didn't, that tells Ash either the flat panzer has gone around this way and is attempting to surprise him from this side, or the flat panzer went around this way to regroup with the VK. Either way, that tells Ash that this way is perfectly clear. He can show this flank if he needs to, and the flat panzer is either over here or over here, and those are two places he needs to scout next. Now that particular bit in the bush was designed to show Ash whether or not the flat panzer was over with the VK yet, as he didn't see it. He's advancing over this way to see if he can find the flat panzer over here. Still no. So now he's checking the ridge again. Maybe the flat panzer was just not in position to shoot at him from there. And now the waiting game starts, because of course the flat panzer knows without doubt that Ash is dangerous. He has just taken out 4 enemy tanks without taking, without being killed himself in the process, which means that he is dangerous, and the flat panzer is either going to hide or he's going to attack, and it depends on the player behind the controls. If the player is particularly aggressive, he's going to attack. If he's uncertain or doesn't know his tank all that well or something like that, he's probably going to sit in hiding and try and ambush Ash. Now, our M41 is yelling things in chat, and Ash is completely ignoring him, and that is the right thing to do. In this kind of situation, very rarely do you want to listen to your teammates who are dead, because 9% of the time, they're not going to help you. 9% of the time, they're just going to distract you and tell you to do things you shouldn't be doing. Now, occasionally, you will get teammates who will ping the map, or give you information about how much health the enemy has, stuff like that. That is all really helpful, and if you're dead and you're wanting your team to win a game like this, then giving it information on like the last known position of the flat panzer, giving it information like how much health it had, if you think he's got ammo or not, stuff like that. If you think you damaged a driver, if you if you think you've damaged him in some remarkable way, like say he doesn't have a gunner anymore, things like this. If you can tell your team this, it will help them win, as it will give them crucial information so they can get an edge over the enemy. As it turns out, the flat panzer went down the 8 line and all the way around and just hadn't got there in time before Ash started and left his base. Now Ash is going to have to race back. Now, unfortunately, two things go on right here. Now, because of the way that the flat panzer approached our base, he knows which direction Ash is probably going to come from. The second thing is there's a lot of open ground between the base and Ash, which is good and bad. And the third thing is there's actually a decent amount of cover inside the base, and if Flat Panzer is intelligent, he can get himself into cover. I'm gonna pause right here. These bushes are actually inside the cap circle. You can sit in them and not be seen until an enemy gets right up on top of you. By that time, you can kill them if they're on low health. Or he can sit in the middle of the cap circle and get his tracks blown off. And now Ash is just going to kill him before he has any choice in the matter. Ooh, enemy actually gets a shot off. Unfortunately for him, he bounces, gets the second shot off and bounces again. Ash is far enough away. This guy's having problems getting through his front armor. And I'm going to pause one last time before we finish off. So Ash was firing into this guy. He was firing with gold. And the reason for this isn't because, Ash was firing gold the entire time. He wasn't. It's because he wanted to guarantee the win. And the last tank in a dueling situation, you always want to guarantee the win. Use some gold if you have it. If you don't have gold on all your tanks, why? I personally keep 1/3 of my ammunition in gold rounds, and 2/3 in standard rounds, and about 5 HE rounds on all my tanks, standard, because every once in a while I get into a position like this where I need to carry a game. And anytime I need to carry a game, I need to be able to rely on my shops to penetrate and do damage. And those are the two key things. If that flat panzer at the end there had been firing gold, Ash probably would be dead and this would be a loss. So, great game by Ash. Epic comeback. 4,000 experience with premium without a daily double. That's insane. That was probably an action payout. Though we'll figure that out at the end. As of course his ace tanker here is the high caliber award, steel wall, defender, and a Colbanos medal. This was a mind-blowing game. Absolutely amazing game. Oh yeah. The only one he did damage to but didn't actually kill was, or not kill, didn't, yeah, you guys will know what I mean. He got damage, he blew his tracks off, but didn't actually do damage to this guy. Everyone else who he aimed at, he did damage to. Now, this is where the game gets real. Almost 3,000 damage done over 5 kills. On the other side of the board, 2,600 damage done over 2 kills. These two were giants of their own accord. In their own field, sorry. Without Ash, this game would have been a loss. Without the Cromwell, his team's game was guaranteed to be a loss. Because of Ash, he managed to pull his team back from the brink of defeat, just as they're like falling over that cliff into the dark pit of defeat. Ash clawed his way back and killed 5 tanks to do it. Single-handedly, no kills before that ending 5, and got the call Banos. This was a great game. 31 shots fired, 27 penetrations. That's what won in the game right there. The fact that he didn't bounce off too many different tanks, and he penetrated and did damage most of the time. A little bit of spine damage, a lot of damage blocked by armor. Considering how much health the Flat Panzer has, that is a lot of damage blocked by armor, and that is why he got himself the steel wall. Thank you. Oh, there we go. That's the action payout. So you got double experience because of some sort of mission he completed. He actually only gained about 2,000 experience for that battle. It was a great battle. So much fun to watch. Thank you, Ash, so much for saying that and let me get to watch that. That was beautiful. That is how you do a last stand, by the way. Take out the most important, the most skilled player possible that you have access to at that second. Of the two, the Cromwell was most dangerous because he had the most skill. After that was the Hellcat because he was next closest. After that was the VK. The Matilda because he presented himself. And then the VK because he presented himself. Lastly, Ash went and hunted down the Flat Panzer because he wasn't there and wasn't present. In order of the tanks doing damage, that wasn't the best. But in order of priority, that was perfect target selection. Epic game. Thank you all for hitting the like or subscribe button or leaving a comment below. That's kind of what I expect from you guys at this point in time. If you liked it, hit the like button. If you liked it, leave a comment. Something to tell me you guys are actually here at this point in time. And if you want to support me more, my Patreon link is in the description below. Even something as small as like $1 a month would go a long way to helping me continue to put out content for you guys. Thank you so much. Have a great night. ioEther out.